Hi guys, welcome back to the Social Work Race podcast. I want to talk to you about assessment writing, especially for those of you who are newly qualified and are social work students. I'm going to give you some tips. Why? Strangely enough, the question is, who teaches us to write assessments really? Does it really happen? I don't think it does. And this is the challenge. I think that we go into social work and there's a lot that we just have to work out. And my thing is this: I wish that we were taught how to social work instead of just getting a degree to show that we can social work. In this video, I want to show you, and in all of my videos, I want to show you how to social work. So let's look at assessment writing. I've got 3 tips for you, okay? The first one is this, and it's probably one of the most important, and it links into the third one, right? And that is, you have to capture the voice of, especially if you work in children and families, but as in principle, you have to capture the voice of whoever is of concern. So if it's the child or the vulnerable person, capture their voice in the assessment. What did they say? How did they feel? Etc., etc. If you haven't done that, you haven't assessed. Now, interestingly, some people, they don't want to talk to social workers. That happens. You're still capturing their voice, and a part of their voice is what they also don't say, and you document that. If you didn't write it, it didn't happen. So if someone doesn't want to talk to you, all you say is and you can look at their history and see that they have a fear of or apprehension to social services because of history or anything like that. That's still their voice. So document what you experience with people, and if they speak to you, document that. That's what it means to capture their voice. The second tip I would give you is use headings in your assessment. And you can use the assessment triangle as a good setup, framework, template for writing your assessment. Don't think that you have to use all of the headings, but some of them are really central to writing an assessment. Basic care, stability, these things are central. And when it comes to issues around parenting, for example, if the referral was around parenting or neglect, then you would use certain headings as a standard to capture an understanding of what's going on for that family. So use headings. It really works out better in terms of readability, because remember, when you write that assessment, the family is going to get a copy of that assessment. So it's always good to write it, especially in a way that they understand. Don't be affluent and too elegant in your writing. Just capture the core and necessary information, and make sure that you understand that the family will be reading that assessment, and rightfully so. They may agree or disagree, but at least you've written it in a way that they can read it easily. Now, this third one is so important because you have to, on the third one now, capture the response to the central issues of concern. So let's say a child said that their parent hit them, for example, and they've had a bruise on their arm or face. You have to, in that assessment, deal with that in the assessment. And I have read assessments where central matters of concern are not addressed. That does happen. That means that you've gone out, you've done all that work in speaking to the family, and the central issue around, for example, a child has said that their parent hit them and they've got a bruise on their arm or face. I've read assessments in line with that where the matter wasn't addressed with the family. There could be a number of reasons for that. And if I was to call out social workers, it could be that the social worker has been afraid to be very direct about the matter of concern. Did you speak to the family about the issue? Did you speak to the child? Yes or no? What questions did you ask? What did the parents say? And maybe they're not being honest about the matter. Are you asking direct questions, and are they answering directly? Are they skirting around? Or are they being honest and holding up their hands? Or was it a misunderstanding? Well, you as a social worker have to capture that information. You cannot analyze risk if you haven't dealt with the central issue of concern. And you have to document that. You want to know if there's any accountability, or if it's just something that was malicious from somebody else, like a malicious referral. You need to dig deep. And the best way to dig deep is to be very direct about the questions that you ask. Again, if you don't do that, you haven't assessed anything, and it's not an assessment if you don't deal with things head on. So that's my tip. Make sure that these things are captured in the assessment, And also, my last point on that is capture their responses accurately. It's always good. Read it back, or just check in and say, you said this. Is this what you meant? Is this what you said? Sometimes answers are inconsistent, and that is an indication of avoidance or denial. But you want to document that and be very clear with whoever you're talking to about what they're saying. Capture it accurately. I hope that helps. But those are my top 3 tips for writing an assessment. And I guess that these tips can be used in adults and children and families social work. I hope this helps. Take care of yourselves.